What's the best smartass comment you've ever heard someone say? In class circa 2009, where the student next to me is in trouble. Things are getting heated. Are you talking back to me? Yes. That's how a ducking conversation works. Cue open mouths. My 5-year-old cousin asking my aunt if we can get McDonald's on the way home. She told him yes, if he could spell McDonald's. About 5 seconds later he says can we get KFC instead? Yes, if you can spell Kentucky Fried Chicken. Pretentious friend told us he was spending the summer at his family's cottage, working on a book. Smart ass friend asks, oh, what are you reading? My uncle asked my dad if he was coming for his wedding third marriage. My dad said sorry, I can't make it this time. Maybe the next one. Mom, I see that you found the perfect resting spot for the clean laundry on the dirty basement floor. Me, no one likes a smartass. Mom, no one likes a dumbass either. Dear. I had a kid in my psychology class in high school who would openly sleep all class. We had a group activity with the topic, do girls know what guys are thinking? So we start, and he's clearly not participating, doesn't know the topic, and has resumed his nap. My teacher decides to call on his name. Do you know the answer to the question? What question? Do girls know what guys are thinking? He looks over to one of our slower female classmates. What am I thinking of? I don't know. Looks back at the teacher. No. Puts his head back down to resume his nap. I work at a fast food restaurant, and my boss just recently announced that his wife was pregnant. A few of us, including my boss, were eating some of the restaurant's food on our break. After we finished eating, my boss absent-mindedly rubs his belly and commented on how our food was starting to make him chubby. Without hesitation, a smart-ass co-worker of mine says, "Chubby, dude, you're further along than your wife." Luckily my boss has a pretty good sense of humor and just laughed it off. A student insinuated that 2 other students may have been having sex. The teacher responded, "I don't believe in premarital sex." The laziest kid in class wakes up. Oh, it happens. It's a real thing. It exists. I was in a lacrosse game, and at halftime, one of the players on the other team asked the referee what's the score. The ref response still cracks me up. It's how we decide who wins the game. Small gathering, and one of my friends just met my other friend's fiance. He said, "Hi there, I've heard all but good things about you." She smiled and didn't even realize what he just said. This was in middle school. One of the kids in class, just annoying, tries making a joke or something here and there. Sometimes it's good. Most of the time it's not. Anyway, one day he decided to play with the meter stick and starts saying, "Look at me, I've got a meter long stick," and puts it between his legs. Without skipping a beat, the teacher looks at him, looks down at his desk and says, "Yeah. Keep dreaming, Pinocchio. One day you'll be a real boy." Entire class came to a screeching halt, erupts in laughter, even the annoying kid. How could you not? Ducking, God bless you, Mr. Smith, you ducking savage. Not me, but one of my friends. As the new teacher went around the room, she asked each student what they like to be called for short. You know, like John instead of Jonathan, Chris instead of Christopher. But when the teacher got to my one friend, his response was amazing. Jordan, do you have anything you want me to call you? You can call me daddy. Go to the office. One of my friends put a selfie up as his new profile picture, and the first comment was, "Try again." Gough Whitlam, former Prime Minister of Australia in the 70s, had one of the best comebacks ever said by a member of parliament. A rural MP said, "I'm a country member. Whitlam, I remember." Hehe. One time my mother was testing my little brother for his upcoming science test and asked him what's his solid. He looked right back at her and said, "When you do someone a favor, Mom." I was touring the Eagle's Nest, Hitler's private retreat vacation home in the Alps this summer, and there was a blizzard. I was on a tour with a Russian family, and for some reason all the Germans seemed really prepared for the snow. I leaned over to this Russian guy who seemed personable and said, "Wow, these Germans are really prepared for the weather, not missing a beat." He just smiled and said, "Yes, this time." It was incredible. I've been called worse things by better people. Pierre Trudeau went told that Richard Nixon had called him an asshole. My pleasantly plump aunt hails a cab. Driver asks her where she's headed. Big beefy a fast food joint downtown. I asked where you're going. Not watching Amy's. I read it on Reddit actually. Why do you play so hard to get when you are so hard to want? Asking a friend for help, he responds with, "Sorry buddy, you can't fix ugly," before I get a chance to explain what I needed. I worked in a stamping factory. You know this machines that cuts and bends steel with the force of gravity and weight of the die. Big heavy stuff. The manager there dropped a die and out of reflex tried to grab it. He lost his a couple fingers and a chunk of another. Fast forward 5 months, shop manager has switched to front office due to his hand. But he comes back to chat with us and updates on sports events because they have a TV up there. We poked fun at him regularly for being a suit. So, one day we are all eating lunch and up comes the manager. "Manager, hey guys. Our local baseball is up 5-2. Co-worker, oh yeah. What inning are we in?" Manager raises his previously mangled hand as to indicate the 5th inning by showing 5 fingers. Co-worker halfway through the 3rd. The manager almost attacked him. Best smart ass retort I'd ever seen. Mom pushing 4-year-old on a swing in the park. Kid leans back too far and falls out of the swing. Kid whines a bit. "Yeah bud. Gravity sucks." Mom says, dusting the kid off. Teacher said to a class of 25, "I got 25 idiots here." One of the kids blurts out 26. True story. Haha. A few days ago, a teacher told my classmate to pick one person for a question and jokingly said, "Pick the most annoying person in this class." My classmate responded with, "Okay sir, I pick you." Many years ago I heard a kid say I had a shirt like that once, but then my dad got a job. My former boss would say, if I wanted to hear an asshole, I'd fart. When it comes to intelligence, you're definitely at the top of the bell curve. My class was watching a movie in English and a painting came up on screen. The class started saying that it was the painting from the Titanic, and then our teacher said, "You're also uneducated and ignorant." I responded with, "Whose fault is that?" A coworker once told me to eat a bag of dick. Before I could respond, another coworker butted in and said, "But why would he eat them when you've already sucked off all the flavor?" I about pissed. Best response ever. Wish it had been mine. We are a bunch of animals out here at work. My high school algebra teacher accused me of cheating because 2 hadn't shown any of my work on a test. When I told her that I could do it in my head, she said, "You can't do algebra in your head." My response was, "No, you can't do algebra in your head." So this was my grandpa. This was when I was 12 years old. My entire family went to Disneyland during Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving Day we went to a restaurant for dinner and the waitress came to take our order. My grandpa ordered first. "Grandpa, I'd like your turkey plate." Waitress, "Oh sorry, we are out of that." Grandpa, "Okay then I'll take the meatloaf." Waitress, "I'm sorry, we are out of that too." Grandpa, "Fine, I'll have the bone and ribby." Waitress, "We are out of that too." My grandpa got fed up and we all decided to go somewhere else to eat. As we were leaving the restaurant, my grandpa walked up to their specials chalkboard, erased it, and wrote out of everything. Then left. I miss that man. When my little brother was just 4 years old, my dad and I were walking into a store holding his hands. It was really busy inside, and when the doors opened and he saw everybody, he said, "Man, look at all these ducking people." Our dad immediately said, "Hey, you don't say that." He just looked up and said, "Yeah, I do. Sometimes." Late to the party. but I was fairly satisfied with my response when my best friend and I both had a fight with our respective girlfriends. My girlfriend said, "You two are ducking idiots." To which I replied, "Don't be so hard on yourself." Me, that's what she said. Legend, not to you. Old employer drove a pork and had a disability. He parked in a disabled bay, put his badge on the dashboard, and was getting out when an old guy started shouting at him, "Oh, what's your disability?" My boss replied, "Tourette's, you cunt, now duck off." A guy held the door for a middle-aged woman with way too much makeup on her face, who said, "Don't you assume I can't get the door myself, just because I'm a woman." The guy replied, "Oh, I didn't hold it because you're a woman, I held it because you're old." Two guys arguing during a large conference meeting. Guy 1, "You're making me look stupid." Guy 2, "Wheel, you're making it easy." Working on a massive commercial site for the largest grocery chain in Australia. Very serious O's, and we've all been told to ace the job, so we get more work from these guys. The site foreman made a half joke and said that the job would be done a lot faster if the aircon guys us pulled their fingers out. My apprentice, without skipping a beat out of your missus or daughter, the entire situation and authority of the guy he said it to, combined with his apprentice status, just made it ducking fantastic. Cop, are you trying to be a smartass? Me, no. Officer, it's effortless. Yesterday I was flying up to New York, and one of the flight attendants was talking to a little boy, and this is how it went. Flight attendant: "Wow, you're 4 years old. Are you in school?" Little boy: "No, I'm in an airplane." About a month before my mom had surgery, I planned a trip to her favorite Chinese restaurant to eat at one last time. Me, my husband, my brothers, my sister-in-law, my cousin, my aunt, and my parents all showed up. My aunt had never been there, and she got there first along with my cousin. As my aunt's looking at the menu, my brothers and Sol walk in and sit down, and she asks them what's in almond chicken. They all respond at the same time, "Chicken with almonds," and then bust out laughing. About 10 minutes later, my husband and I show up, and she asks me the same question. "Chicken with almonds," is my response, without even thinking. And my brothers and Sil burst out laughing. They explain why, and my husband and I start laughing. 5 or so minutes later, my parents walk in and sit down. She turns to them, asks, "What's in almond chicken?" "Chicken with almonds," comes out of my dad's mouth, and the whole table loses it, without any warning from anyone. 3 different groups of people gave the same smart-ass response to my poor aunt. That was about 4 years ago, and I still text her "chicken with almonds" whenever I remember to. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.